Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the Proud Masculine Podcast, episode 2. Really excited for that. We're transitioning away from Do the Work Wednesday, and we're gonna have these obviously Joe's weekly show here. So excited to be a part of it for tonight, and we're gonna be diving into a topic that Joe suggested, and it's gonna be a juicy one because I would imagine every guy has thought about this before. And obviously, by the title, is she being a narcissist or are you just being a bit of a baby? And I've asked this question for myself too. I'm like, dude, am I just being sensitive, or is like this person, and it doesn't have to be a woman, just a relationship, is this person actually, do they have a narcissistic personality and I need to stay away? So, Joe, what prompted you to come up with this title and idea for the show?
I'll tell you. First off, good seeing you again. Glad to be back on the live.
Yeah,
missed
baby.
you last week. It was a good show, but we missed you. And I'll tell you why. Here's the thing. I've been not only in the comments on other content, but people coming to me in the DMs and emails, leaving emails. And I had 3 in the past week that led with basically that she's a narcissist. And, but I'm seeing that more and more and more. I'm starting to see a lot of an influx in not just related to dating and breakups, and just a lot of content you see are painting people to be narcissists. Most specifically as it relates to a breakup.
Okay.
And what the disturbing thing is that that term is being thrown around so loosely, narcissistic, that
Yes.
it's been diluted to where, first, I'll tell you, I've been with a narcissist.
Okay.
You're not going to know you've been with a narcissist too long after it's over, till you see the after effects and you're able to look back. Because when you're with a narcissistic woman, it's always about the blame is always yours, and you'll never know. It starts off fine, and this is the way a narcissist does it. They bring you in for the love bomb. They make you feel like the most important thing on this planet. They bring you up so high. Think about it, they put you in a hot air balloon and they just gradually bringing you up, up, up. And the whole way up, it's compliments. It's, oh, I love you, Dick. Oh, you're so sexy. Oh, you're the best I've ever been with. Oh, you do this so well. Oh, you cook so good. Oh, you got good tasting clothes. Oh, everything. You're like, damn, she's a very nice girl. All these compliments, and they always loving on you and make you feel full of worth. Well, it's called the love bomb.
Okay.
And it's a trait of narcissists. Men and women do it. Then slowly they turn on you, do a fucking 180, and they bring you to the devaluation phase. That's where shit goes off the rails.
Yeah, dude.
This is where you start questioning everything. Reality, your own judgment, your own thinking. You sense something's off, but they'll never give you room to breathe, to think that you're being fucked up.
Wow.
And you're being warped. And it's an ugly and dangerous game they play. So they'll slowly devalue you. And this is the way a narcissist latches on to its source. Is they get you in their claws, so to speak. It's like you ever seen a crocodile grab something?
Oh yeah, just won't let go. Poor gazelle, just done. And it's so crazy you bring this up because I've done a few talks on my channel, Sobriety University. Tune in if you haven't already, on love addiction and love avoidance. And love avoidance, that is one of the traits, is love bombing. They do that exact same pattern. They treat you like you're the best thing that's ever happened since sliced bread. And then they have, like, it goes there's like a cycle, and it goes just like that. They're all into you. You can't do no wrong. And as soon as you start to open up a little bit, then they do that turn. And it's like, oh my God, wow, I just expressed myself a little bit. All of a sudden she's like, yeah, not, or he's not, like the love avoidant. It's like, yeah, not feeling it anymore. And they do that like manipulative pull away where they don't communicate. They basically just say adios. And then they do the same cycle with somebody else. And that's what they call love avoidant. So I fall in the more a love addicted category. So I experience what you just talked about in a relationship. It fucking sucked.
Well, and here's the thing about narcissists is that they're so keen, they're so well adapted, and they target empathetic people, and they're usually dysfunctional. And I've told you my story. I've dropped bits and pieces. I've had a dysfunctional childhood. Mm-hmm. I had some screwed up programming coming up. So that's like blood in the water for sharks when a narcissist sees and senses that.
Why is that? Why do they love that so much?
Because that's how they gain their value. They see an easy prey, an easy target. It's a natural predatory drive that lives within a narcissist. And they will suck the life out of you. They start to isolate you from other people, your own family, your best friends, your children.
Absolutely.
They demonize everything you do. They will always lead you to believe that you're invalidating them. I'm not validated and I'm not appreciated. So naturally you'd be like, okay, maybe I need to step back, take a look at what I'm doing and work on some things. So you do that. Well, guess what? That's exactly what they want you. It's like playing chess, checkers versus chess. You trying to be normal, healthy, compassionate, kind, loving, and they're just like, come on in. They set and trap. Every time you take a step forward, it's like, got another one. And they bring these things out in you. The only reason they show care and concern is so they can use it against you when the time is. So through the devaluation process, they slowly just suck the worst.
Slowly.
And it's so cunning and so skillfully done. You don't even realize it's happening. Then you really start to question reality. And you start blaming yourself for everything. I got to do better. They're unhappy. Because they've already inflated you to the point where you've been love bombed so hard, you thinking this can't possibly be this person doing this. Mm-hmm. They showed such high interest and they were so enthusiastic, and then you start seeing them distancing you from everybody, picking fights every chance they get, getting you riled up and then asking you, oh my God, what is wrong with you? You're a psycho. Like they'll push your buttons, and boom, you pop. And you're like, whoa, like what's going on here? Why would you react like that? Why would you make me feel like that? Why would you make me feel threatened and scared? I don't know if I want to be around you. They do that shit. It's a constant. And by the time they're done with you, you feel so worthless. You don't trust anything that's going through your head. You think everything you're thinking is wrong. Mm-hmm. So what they do slowly is they slowly start creeping to it. It's like a shark in the water, and they begin to seek other prey, which is called the source. They seek another source. Then when they find that source, they're building that source up by putting you down. Oh, he's mean. He goes off all the time. He's mentally unstable. He's abusive. He's verbally abusive and emotionally abusive. They use these words a lot. You'll see it. It's in their lexicon. Is emotional abuse, emotionally, mentally abusive, verbally abusive, unhinged, mentally unstable.
Dysfunctional.
Yeah. Toxic is their favorite word.
Unhealthy.
And you don't even know. It's like you've been thrown in a blender
Yeah.
And by the time they hit the off button, you're still spinning, and you don't even know what happened. You just don't know. And when you break up, it's just it's like the Twilight Zone.
Mm-hmm.
But the upside is if you continue to do the work and you continue to improve and work on yourself, you could start to look back and connect the dots. Like, wait a fucking second. Oh, is it 5 minutes? Good. Wait a second. Wait a minute. That's not how that happened. I remember it just like this. This is how it went. No, that's not what I said. And all the times you were told you're overreacting, why are you acting like this? You start to realize it's a trap. It was a trap to do that, to get you. And so then it goes the love bomb, the evaluation, discard. That's the life cycle of a
Yes.
narcissist.
Wow. Bro,
And-
I just had this experience. And, obviously, and we're going to get into this, like I was responsible for sure. But that's what it started with, those little things. Like, it was like, she started to devalue my roommate. Like, oh man, like he just brings girls around. Like, that's gross. Like, don't be like that. And then it was eventually like, yeah, I don't like guys that see other women. And it's like, I'm responsible. I fell into that. I'm like, yeah, and of course, she's probably right. Like, I shouldn't be doing that. Like, and then, brought me into her world. Like, oh, I'm going on this trip for the weekend. Come with, it'll be awesome. We had this super romantic, passionate weekend of love making and all that fun stuff. Week later, like, oh yeah, I gotta, I got a work thing. I gotta see my boss. I don't want to look bad in front of him. And I'm just like, that was weird. That was a weird, sudden switch. Like, we were essentially dating at that point. Like, that's not how like a relationship I would think would go. A little more communication. And now, like, literally, I'm realizing, dang, like I was in the love avoidant trap and also apparently this narcissism trap. Now, I'm going to play a little devil's advocate here. So I like to look at myself in the gym when I'm working out. I like myself. One could argue that I'm a narcissist.
You could, but that's not true. See, everybody has narcissistic traits. Every human being that walks the planet, everybody manipulates to a degree. You always manipulating to get what you want. At its simplest form, manipulation. We always do it. We do it everywhere we go. Every time we interact, there's a little bit of manipulation going in. And even in relationships, we manipulate each other a little bit. That's not
Sure.
That's not outside. That's not out of bounds for human behavior, but it's not harmful manipulation. Think about what babies do. What does a baby do? It manipulates. It starts to cry, right?
Right.
And it's an action reaction. I cry, I get fucking Cheerios. I cry, I get a snack. I cry, I get held. And so, that's probably the most primal form. But as you get older, you start seeing what works with certain people, certain individuals. There's certain things you can do to manipulate the situation, that steer the outcome in your favor. It's not uncommon. And that's perfectly natural within the realm of human behavior, narcissistic traits. That's not a narcissist or borderline personality disorder.
Okay. That's a huge distinction. Because there's been times I'm like, dude, I'm a fucking narcissist. Jesus, like, I want things for myself, blah, blah, blah. It's like, it sounds like it's more when it's harming another person is when it turns into that.
Well, narcissists are absolutely just self-consumed, self-centered, self-righteous, but very insecure.
Oh, okay.
So it's a constant battle for them.
Right. They're doing everything to be in control for their identity. But if they let that go, they know they'll just be their childlike self, basically. That's kind of what I'm hearing.
Well, it's I guess you could say in its simplest form. But the thing is that they'll do this at any lengths. They will wreak havoc in every person's life that they come in contact with. And what you'll start to see some of the behaviors you can look at is how they dog everybody they've been around out. They're coming up, oh, my parents were horrible. Oh, my ex was abusive, and he did this and he did that. He was a narcissist. Narcissists love calling other people narcissists
Okay.
because it puts them in the victim role because they get to be the victim.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm gonna give you the definition because I don't know the medical definition. Basically, personality qualities include thinking very highly of oneself. That's the self-absorption.
Okay.
Needing admiration. That's the insecurity. Believing others are inferior and lacking empathy for others. That's a very basic definition, but if you look at what happens in a relationship with a narcissist, it goes just like that. That's exactly how it is. They'll have your question and everything. So, and and everybody's thinking and saying that nowadays, that, oh, he was a narcissist. She was a narcissist. And look, there's one thing I believe that social media has increased or magnifies the narcissistic traits in people. Because I mean, think about it.
Yes.
Think about the chicks you see that are constantly taking selfies, constantly posting selfies, constantly looking for validation. And who do they get validation from?
Same.
The thirsty fucking simps.
Yep.
And what do? They despise these men, but they like their attention.
Right.
But they crave that attention, and it's over and over and over. They'll post a picture, with the ass hanging out, and try to say, I went to Starbucks today, and Starbucks.
Just enjoying the weather.
Yeah,
okay.
With a titty shot. So, and if a guy gets on there and says, "Hey, nice titties," oh, you're a creep, loser, or so. And that's just a very small example. It runs way deeper than that. And I can tell you this. It's not as common as people think. But if you've ever had an entanglement with a narcissist, you're going to know. You're not going to know till after. But there is an upside. There is an upside after that. Once you recover from that, mentally and emotionally.
Okay.
There's a positive. There's a silver lining, is that unless you don't do anything about it and you stay the same person and you stay weak and dysfunctional, you'll just repeat that over and over again, because you'll attract narcissists, because you'll be that available person. You'll be that weak, vulnerable person that a narcissist is going to latch onto and do to you all over again.
Yeah.
If you've worked through it, if you recognize what just happened, if you recognize what you've just been through, and you are able to recover and do work and process and heal through that, you'll never fall for that shit again. And at the slightest hint of narcissism, you'll check that shit immediately. You
absolutely.
You wouldn't let that shit. You can keep that at a distance, and you can spot those detrimental behaviors a mile away. Like you're like, no.
Yep. You can sense it on their profile. Sometimes you'll just, I had exactly that happen. I got to work, I talked to you about it. I figured out what I was doing wrong, and I've leveled up. Yeah, it sounds like bragging, but I can't believe it. Like, I'm a completely different person. And now when I'm dating, it's like, dude, as soon as I spot that, yeah, maybe I'll push for a date. If they're, being a little wishy-washy, I'll give them a little benefit of the doubt. But as soon as it's leaving on red a little, I'm just like, unfollow. Nah, not happening. So the girls in my life now, they're responsive. They respond when I text them. They're enthusiastic all the time whenever I text them. And I'm like, yes, they don't do drugs. They're not I guess, unhealthy people. So it really can only take one. Guys, if you're struggling through this, get to work and have that pain be the fuel, because all it takes is one narcissistic relationship to be I ain't ever playing around with this again. And I now know I'm going to be free of that for like the rest of my life. It's like freaking awesome.
Well, and here's the thing also is that what I've also met a lot of is men who were raised by single mothers who were narcissists. I have a dear friend of mine.
Mhm.
I'm not going
Wow.
to say his name, but he's helped me greatly in, in the process of self-discovery. He's a hypnotherapist. And I was like one of the first few people he'd worked with. And he has a very, very interesting story. It's intriguing about his mother and his relationship. Like she was a full blown, and then she did some damage to this guy. Now, luckily, at some point, he found some independence and freedom from that enough, because what you need, you're not going to recognize it as long as they're in your face. As long as you have a narcissist in your life, right, on a regular basis, they're going to keep you blind. Some people do start to see the signs. Once you get beat down enough, you're thinking like, wait up. There's no way this is my life. Like, what is going on? Like, one day you're this, 2 years pass, and you're like, what the fuck? What's going on? So you start asking questions. And, you have this degree of sincerity about you, like, I know. And gaslighting is another powerful tool used by narcissists. Like, they'll stand in your face and tell you, like, an example of gaslighting is throwing a slight at you, a comment, to try to degrade you a bit. And then you confront them about it. I didn't say that. No, that's not what I said.
Yeah.
No, you going crazy. I don't know what your problem is lately, but I can't say anything around you. And as soon as I say something, you go on the defense, and I swear I'm just not going to talk anymore. And it goes from 0 to 100 quick. And then you're thinking like, well, wait a minute, did they say that? Did I say that? Or is that what they said? And somehow you'll wind up taking the blame for it. And this is why I preach to men. When I get my claws in them, like, we're about to do some work. And what you need to look at is, why did you accept this? Why did you allow this to happen? Who are you, and what have you done to your life and yourself and others in your life to create this atmosphere, to put you in this position? Like, don't try to run away from me when I'm asking you to take accountability for your part, because you have a part. Yeah, you can admit that you've been victimized by a narcissist, but that's as far as we go with being victims. That's it. That's the only amount of, feeling sorry for yourself that you get with me. Because then we're going to talk about how to get out of that, improve to the point and level up to where that never happens again. But that's not even a fucking option. Because there's only one way to do that. There's only one way to build yourself, make yourself durable, like bulletproof. And when you experience a narcissist, they'll call you an arrogant narcissist. That's how you know you're going. That's how you know you're doing better. Because I've actually had that narcissistic person circle back.
Okay.
And try to.
Do you get sucked back in? Were you like, ooh?
Hell no. Like, I was like, bring it, motherfucker. I'm gonna show you.
So, with your friend, coming back to that point, do you find that people that have narcissistic parents end up also being in the narcissistic category, or are they more in the opposite?
It goes both ways. It goes boboth ways. Either you're going to adopt those traits and see how that manipulation worked on you and apply it to others. A lot of people fall into that naturally. Others they stay the narcissist bait.
Okay.
Because you're so beaten down, like, you can't help but, like, you don't even know, you don't even realize it. You just attract that same person in your life. And this is why I think our first live stream, we had that conversation about how we build our self-concept, values, core values, and beliefs in 0 to 7 years. Well, if you've just been constantly drilled into by a narcissist and you haven't done anything with that, all you're going to do is reinforce that as you get older and older and older. Now you bait. Now you chump.
So would you almost say a simp is a chump?
Yeah, but for different reasons.
Okay.
They are fucking chumps.
So, gosh, so we've talked a lot about so far on the narcissism thing. Guys, comment down below if you've experienced a narcissistic relationship and you can relate to what we've been talking about. Now, let's flip it over to the other side of what this stream is about. It's a guy just being a pussy.
Yeah, you're just being sensitive.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of that going around these days because men are lied to and said you need to be in touch with your emotions, express your feelings, and it's not how we built, brother. There's a time and a place and a space for that, and a particular space. It's not for the world to see, and it's certainly not for the woman who looks up to you in your life to hear and see, to deal with your shit. She can be debriefed.
Yep.
She can be debriefed like, hey, this is what's up. Stressful week. I got 10 things on my plate. I'm going in 10 different directions, but here's what I'm doing. This is what's going on. And, that's why I might seem like I'm off in left field a little bit when you're trying to talk to me or whatever the case may be. I may not be as present, but you still got to be able to compartmentalize, because not only is there time and a place to deal and process and release those emotions. I don't believe in bottling up and stuffing it down. That's good. That's a recipe for disaster. That'll take years off your life. That will kill you. There's a way to process that shit. And as I know this is cliche, but it's cliches are cliches for a reason. You got to feel it to heal it.
Feel it to heal it, baby. Amen.
So if you're hurting, if you're stressed, if you're angry, if you're sad, acknowledge it. So yes, but don't do it out in the open. You do that in a professional atmosphere or with a trusted friend or a trusted mentor.
Yes.
That can walk you through the processing, not to coddle you and tell you, oh, you poor thing, you need a rest. And then they can say, yeah, I've been there. Yeah, I've been there. And here's how I did it. Here's what worked for me. Here's what works every time I get in a jam. This is what I do. I meditate. I go for a walk. I do this particular. I have a regime for anxiety, a workout program, specifically geared towards anxiety, written by a PhD, a psychologist, a psychotherapist, a psychologist, one of those two, who hand wrote this based on all the information and data he collected to get his PhD.
Wow.
So it's money. And it's for anxiety. It's HIIT workout, high intensity, high heart rate, then sauna, 15 minutes.
Oh, it's that sauna.
Then there's a breathing exercise where you start off, it sounds really simple, but it's not. It takes about 2 months to get these reps where you could do 6 reps uninterrupted. And it's along the lines of box breathing.
Okay.
It's you inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. And that's 1 rep. But the only thing you're allowed to think of is 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. If any other thought passes through, you got to start over. And the what that does is not only does it calm you, it centers you, it focuses you, and anxiety just melts. And it takes about 2 months to do 6 consecutive reps of that without having a thought dart across your consciousness. But the more you do it, the better you get, and you start to recognize. And I can do 10 or 12 pretty easy now. But I do that routinely. And if I need to sit, I can do it. And the object is to do it for a certain amount of time. If you need to start out at 2 minutes, then the next week up to 5 minutes. Keep it at 5 minutes as long as you need until you could just do it without a time clock. You could just sit back, because what I'll do, I'm a little jacked up and tense because I have a lot on my plate. I do. I'm a busy fucking guy. I'm always doing something, and I like it like that. I'm not avoiding anything. I'm filling my cup. That's how I work. That's how I operate. Like I'm a go-getter. And when I know I'm a little strung out, if I'm on the way somewhere, I'll make some time. I'll pull in 5 minutes early and I'll just sit back and breathe. And by the time that 5 minutes is up, I'm good to go.
Yes. Yeah.
And
Also in the morning, great way to start the morning before touching that phone. Pick up, just sit down and breathe. I do that every morning before touching internet or anything like that.
yeah, you shouldn't touch your phone for about 30 minutes, at least.
I get excited. I'm chilling with 15, but yeah, dude. And I think that's that's one of the most important things you've taught me throughout us knowing each other is that as a man, you need to handle your emotions on your own. Your woman should not know the depths to the pain you're going through ever. And I was one of the I thought it would be okay to talk about it. Like, hey, I'm going through this, like this is this and this. And I remember my mentor is always like, well, it sounds like you're looking for mommy. And I never correlated those two. That's what a young boy does with his mom, is to talk about his feelings and emotions. And when I was growing up, I didn't get that. So I didn't get that, reassurance. So for most of my adult life, I've been seeking that in a woman until now. That's no longer happening. And the dates are much better. I'm in frame. It's just incredible. That simple shift from saying, hey, I'm going to tell her exactly what's going on in my life and be super vulnerable, to just like not even bringing up the word emotion. It's been a fucking game changer, man. That's incredible.
Well, not only that, it's life-changing in every aspect. And what that helps you do is now you got to take responsibilities. Emotions are there for a reason. And the reason they're there for a man and the reason they're there for a woman is two different purposes they serve. For a man, your emotions are like a knock on the door, like, hey, just to get your attention. Like, hey, this needs attention. Like something's going on. This particular thing triggered you. So it's not for you to just, the emotion is not there for you to react. It's there for you to look in and drill down and see what caused that. I mean, obviously, if it's excitement, if it's happiness, a feel good, warm and fuzzy type thing, you're not going to say, all right, what the fuck is causing this? It's not going to be like that. But
yeah, man, I'm happy again.
Yeah, what the fuck's going on? I've been happy. I don't know, if you're happy too much, you might want to.
Yeah.
But if you short fuse and short tempered, and all these negative emotions, anger, anxiety, depression, worry, which could be put in the same category as anxious, somewhat, all are rooted in fear. And there's only two fears: fear that you're not going to get what you want, or you're going to lose what you already have. So which one is it? And what about that scares you? Why are you getting anxious? So that's just why I say you need to feel it to heal it. So you need to feel that and pay attention to what's going on, when it happened, why it happened, who it happened with, what was the circumstance, and what is that fear, what is that anxiety anchored in?
Yes.
I think you got to be aware.
I think that's why we don't remember happy moments as much, because we allow ourselves to feel it fully in the moment. It's like we say, it's not like, oh my God, I'm happy. Fuck, I got to analyze this. When you feel a negative thing, you instantly, most people try to suppress it. So that's why the memory becomes so powerful.
That's a really good point. That's a damn good point. So, you got to think about what happens day to day. How many tens of thousands of thoughts you have per day. And those thoughts eventually turn into what? Your habits. Your habits turn into your personality. And it's rooted, it's cemented. This is that transformation process is relaying that subconscious pathway we talked about, that process. And it doesn't begin until you have the ability to stop. All right, I'm about to lose my shit. Why? I need to stop. What's going on here? What around me, what stimulus is causing this reaction? What am I reacting to? Okay, that. Then you ask again, why am I reacting to that? Well, because this person's all right. Well, why does that bother you?
Yeah.
Then you just keep asking why, why, and it's not going to happen the first time. You're going to feel a little relief because you finally identified, but you still have that subconscious highway laid, and that's going to affect you unless you're able to stop every time for an extended period of time, and then you move over here and you clear this neural pathway, and you make a new highway for your thoughts to travel on.
Mm.
And you know, we talked about that. I gave you the metaphor already about making a new highway and shit. So anyway, back to the narcissism. And yeah, I mean, you really got to look at it and do an honest appraisal. Again, this is why I say do the work. This is the only way you're going to be able to differentiate. Am I just being sensitive? Like, am I just being a bitch about this? Or because usually you hear this stuff, right after a breakup that they were narcissists. Oh, they're narcissists because I feel like shit. and look, at the end of a breakup, when a chick goes cold on you, it looks very much like narcissism. It's very much like that. But it's not an abnormal behavior. Like, they had a point where they're going into survival mode once they break up. Like, they want to be away from that source of stress.
Okay.
And women process stress and rejection and all that differently than men. When your breakup is initial, the dumper is going to go through the relief phase.
Yeah.
But that relief, that sigh of relief, is that source of negativity is removed. So now they're fighting to stay in that relief phase and justify the breakup. So they're going to get cold and mean and heartless. Like, you want to see a heartless woman? Find a woman that's done. It was like she never knew. You could have been with her about 5 years, planned a family, all these great things, and built a life. She's done. She'll pretend like she didn't even know you.
Yeah. Just talked about this with a buddy.
I'm going to kill myself. It's not my problem. Don't call me. Stop calling me. I'm going to block you. Call me again. So, yeah, that smells a little bit like narcissism, but it's not. It's just a normal fucking. I've been on both ends of the breakup. I've been the dumper and the dumpy. I remember I had this chick. We broke up, and a good month. Every day, call. Then passing by my house, showing up where I'm at, like everywhere I went. Everything I did, she'd call my friends. She'd be waiting for me at my job. I'd have to be in at 6 a.m. She'd be in a parking lot waiting for me. We need to talk.
Nice.
And so I had to get cold. Like, look, don't fucking leave me alone. Don't come around anymore. I don't want to see you anymore. I'm not messing with you. I'm not in love with you. There's nothing I have for you. Move on. Get out of my life. Don't bother me again. And I had to be an asshole.
Yeah.
And I was younger. I was a little bit more of an asshole than I am now. I mean, I'm still an asshole, but not in the same respect.
So where would you say that distinction is then between, like, if you just got dumped, how can you tell if the woman you were dating was in a narcissistic headspace versus that just survival of, like, fuck off?
When it first happens, you're not really going to be able to comprehend that.
Okay.
You could replay the tapes. But
you have to look at the relationship as a whole to really.
I mean, there are some glaring behaviors. But like I said, if you're a little fucked up, you're not going to be able to differentiate between, like, where you are. Like, what is your position? Because in initial stages of a breakup, the person who didn't want to get broken up with is going to ruminate and want to take responsibility for everything. They're going to go through that phase. They go in and out of anger and shame.
Sadness.
Anger, shame.
Yeah.
Like, what did I do? If I could have just said this at this time, I would have said. Then they're going to go through, you know what?
That's so much.
Fuck that bitch. She don't want me. I'm going to show her. I'm going to do it. And then 20 minutes later, they, oh my God,
Oh, my baby.
if I could just talk to her for 10 minutes and explain to her why I'm such a good guy and why we should stay together. Then it's back to, I'll never have anybody again. So you're not going to know until things settle down a bit. And
Gotcha.
where you're able to really, with clarity, no emotion involved, sit and reflect and look back at the situation. Now, you always have your intuition. And this is the most discounted source of understanding that humans have that we don't use. We either need the clear-cut information or we need to feel a certain way about it. And intuition is almost like a balance of those, because it is a feeling, but it's a clear understanding. And a lot of people have done this. I've been guilty of this. Is in the beginning, you ignore these red flags, which they're red flags, but that pussy is good, or it's so fun, and that stuff will work itself out. I'll address it later. And
Right.
We choose to ignore the red flags. So
By painting them green.
there you go. You know what I'm talking about. We've had this discussion.
Yes, we have. That's a red flag in my past, but I'm a new person, so I think that's a green flag now.
Well,
They do
here's
heroin. Green flag. No,
yeah, right.
Don't date a chick with this
Heroin, but she doesn't shoot it. She just snorts it.
Yeah, with a 20. I mean, he's not using one.
Yeah, she's not using a gas station straw. Come on. She's using money. She's high class. So what you can do is get ahead of that shit. Make yourself into a formidable man, a man to be reckoned with, and you become narcissist proof. That's the key. Brother. Make yourself narcissist proof, or any bullshit proof. But that takes work.
Yeah. And time and experience. Yeah.
And people who are raised and grown up in healthy families, which is no such thing as a 100% healthy family, but I'm talking about a mother and a father at home who were good at communicating, showing love and affection, showing teamwork. Dad shows leadership, mom shows submissiveness. They're on the same page when it comes to parenting, with the exception of the few, here, don't tell your dad type stuff. That's normal in any household where the mom's going to let you get away with a little more. And, just a loving environment where the children feel loved and protected and secure. And they have both parental figures in their lives at the same time. Those people are narcissist repellent, because a narcissist knows they don't have a chance with somebody that can call them on their bullshit right away.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the hyena looking for the little limping antelope walking across.
Yeah. Right.
And he starts creeping up and he's like, this motherfucker don't have a chance.
Oh, man.
And I'm going to tear it to shit. And that's how it is. So make yourself narcissist proof. Do the work. Everybody has work to do. To what degree, that'll vary from person to person based on your experience and your upbringing and your life experience.
Yeah. But
there's always something that can be done to improve your chances. And my opinion, my philosophy is you should be doing something every day that makes you put yourself in a better position for the day after. Every day.
Absolutely. I love that. Just get better every day. Have that become your life. Like your life becomes improvement. That's my buddy and I were just talking about that.
Put yourself out there. Put yourself purposefully in an uncomfortable position.
Yeah.
Whether it's learning something, whether it's pushing yourself physically, pushing yourself mentally, socially. That could mean that's a hot chick sitting across the restaurant and you just don't have like your legs turn into lead when you get up to walk over there. You have your ass fucking legs up and go over there and say hi. Even though you're going to be nervous and go over there and mess up the interaction, she's going to look at you like you got a dick growing out of your forehead. Go over there and do it anyway.
Do it anyway.
Do these things. Dude. Do these things that are difficult, that challenge you day to day. And anything you do repetitively, you will eventually get better at it.
Yep.
Now, making these big changes, obviously, you don't want to spend a span of 10 years doing intensive work, guessing, shooting from the hip. So that's why they have professionals. I don't really trust modern psychology and counseling and therapy for men. I don't. I think it's a sham.
Yeah.
Because
I was studying. Yeah, I was studying psychology at university, and I quit junior year because I'm like, this is not like DSM's kind of bullshit. It's
a narrative. They've rewritten the narrative. It's not in favor of men, and it's not in favor of mental health. It's almost like a cycle of enabling people to be mentally fucked up
and keep coming back and paying money for 10 years. And then 10 years on, they're like, well, we have a dossier of, your life history over the last 10 years. And they're like, well, I don't feel better. It's like, well, trust us. We're therapists.
Yeah.
It's like, great.
Trust us. Great. Oh, you tell them that doesn't make me feel better. Well, how do you feel about that? How does that make you feel? What does that look like to you? And that's what they ask.
I just told you.
Yeah, like, what the fuck do you mean? Why do you keep asking me that? Obviously, I'm distraught. Give me a fucking answer. Give me a direction. You seem angry. How do you feel right now? So
angry.
This is why therapy for men, that looks like a strong group of successful men who push, who achieve, who overcome, who solve problems, who create opportunities for themselves and others around them. You surround yourself with that kind of company, you're only going to get better, because these people in these positions, just about everybody that I associate with is doing better than I am.
There it is, dude. Yes.
Because, and you know what else they are? Not only are they're doing better than I am in most respects, like when it comes to business, the guys better at business. I mean, I might know women and shit better than him, but that's not why we're hanging out with that. We talking business. And the most valuable thing he offers me is honesty. When he would tell me, like, what did you just say? He said, does that make sense that you would bid this job like this? What about this and this and this and this and this? I say, oh, I didn't think about that. He goes, obviously fucking not. Like, that's why you're losing money.
Yeah.
Pay attention. Pay attention. Here's what we're going to do. He's not being all...
how do you feel about that? How do you feel about your defeat?
He doesn't go over all the pleasant thing. Well, you do really good with this and really good with this. Maybe this is a concern. I don't have time for that. Cut to the fucking chase. Speak to me direct. And there's another guy. We talking shit, talking about we're doing some videos. We're doing some video shoots, trying to organize an event surrounded around jiu-jitsu. And he's like, well, you got any ideas? Come on, let's brainstorm. He says something. I said, and the motherfucker hung up on me. So I called him back. I said, will we lose the connection? He's like, fuck no. I ain't listening to that stupid shit. Think of something better and call me back.
Damn.
Okay.
Shit.
Now, obviously, with like brothers, and he can get away with that. But I know he's getting at.
Yeah.
So I called him back. He's like, now we're talking. But this is the way men help each other. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Sitting in a therapist's office, wallowing in your woes, isn't going to fix anything. That's not changing. The biggest and the most important element of change is environment.
Yeah.
The first thing you should change, and then he said, think about recovery. What did he tell you? Ditch the old friends and old places.
Yep.
Change your environment.
Yep. Step one. Absolutely. Like there's a saying, like, dude, if you're the smartest person in a room, you're in the wrong room.
Yeah.
So I really with dating anyway, everybody's one person in my network is all more experienced than me. Business, most are way more experienced than me. in recovery, I would say you don't want to always be the one at the bottom, because then it's like, you're not adding value. Like, you got to be in a position too where you can add immense value, I think. So find a room where you are like you can help more people, I think. But I'm right there with you, man. Definitely.
There's got to be common ground to begin with. There's got to be a common interest there. And there's also because people who achieve and, go-getters in life don't take kindly to lazy people. I don't.
Nope.
Lazy excuse makers, I got no fucking time for you. Don't even approach me with that bullshit unless you're willing to talk about, let's solve a problem. Let's create something. And what I've noticed about these high achievers, they love teaching. They love sharing this stuff. If you have the drive,
yes,
if you have the ambition,
yep,
and they will show you everything. And it's only the people that don't want to see you do well, these people that are beneath you and see you going out of reach, are going to try to pull you down and tell you that that's a stupid idea, or what do you think? Oh, that's not going to work. Oh, I know somebody who's a dead ass and that fell apart. And yeah, well, you better think about that. I mean, what about what you have now? You're going to lose that. You're going to risk losing that. Those people underneath the surface want to see you fail, because and that means, not only does it mean you're going to do better than them, it's a reflection of themselves that they weren't willing to do what you're willing to do. They're not willing to step off that ledge and jump into the deep end because they're scared. So what do they want?
You've heard of crabs in the bucket.
Oh, fuck yeah. I'm from a fishing town. We used to see it.
Yep.
And I'll tell you, an old man, we used to fish on the side of the road when we were young. These old black guys used to fish. And they used to give us cigarettes. And won't tell your mama, boy. And, we go hang out with them. They'd give us a hot beer now and then. And it was like 11, 12, 13 years old. And we used to ride our bikes. It was about 6 miles away. And it was just a popular off the side of the road fishing spot. And so it was a canal that fed through a bayou and connected. Anyway, I'm not going to give you the geography of the place. But they had crab traps in it.
Yeah.
And I grew up in a fishing town. Crab and shrimp and oysters.
Oh, sweet.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing. Oh, it sounds so good right now. Oh my God, I'm so hungry.
The shrimp out of Louisiana bayous is above and beyond the best shrimp I've ever had in my life. Maybe because I grew up on it, but it's got this taste that I've not tasted in a shrimp anywhere else. And the oysters, salty.
Oh, dude.
Oh, I'm getting hungry now. So the guy said, one of my boys I was with, this dude Ryan, his dad, like anything we would catch, his dad would help us. So we'd go crawfishing. And he shows how to boil the crawfish, and we'd hang out and eat crawfish. So his dad said when we were leaving, hey, catch some crabs. And bring them home with boiled crabs. So you usually need about 4 dozen to have a decent crab boil. Blue crabs. And so his dad says, catch some crab. Well, along this canal, these people used to go in these boats, and they got these big styrofoam corks that float on top of the water with a rope attached to the trap. And as you drive a boat, they have this hook, grab the cork, pull it up, dump the trap, throw it back in. So the crabs were passing, we waving them, hey, give us some crabs, give us some crabs. So the guy gave us like it's called a hamper. It's just wooden thatched basket. It's very thin wood. It's just made to keep crabs while you're catching them. And that's how they sell them, per hamper. So he gave us like a hamper full, about this far from the top. And so he pulls up on side to the bank. He hands it to us. Thank you. Thank you. People were nice when I was growing up. That's the place I lived in. And so we wanted to keep fishing. So we got the crabs on the side, and we're looking for something to put on top of that basket, that hamper. An old black guy said, leave it alone. He said, you see them crabs in there? They're not going to let any of them get up. Watch. Sure enough, every time a crab would get over to the top of the brim, boom, another crab would pull it down. You didn't have to put anything on top of the bucket.
Nope.
Crabs pulled every crab trying to get out back down. They don't get out. So that's where the saying comes from, because it's a real thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it's absolutely true too.
Yeah.
But you
People
know
will
what?
pull you
You
back.
know, yeah, but there's a silver lining. I like silver linings. And the silver lining is when you feel people tugging at your feet, when you feel people tugging at your dreams and your vision, that means you're moving in the right direction. That's a sign to keep going, go harder, and distance yourself from those people. You have to be ruthlessly willing to cut those people out of your life immediately. As soon as that is a behavior, no second chances with that shit. There's no time for that. You let people like that seep into your life, they'll destroy you if you allow it. And it's your fucking responsibility. Just like the whole narcissism thing. It's not their fault. They're a narcissist. That's how people are born. Some people learn behavior. Some people are just born fucking evil.
Right.
But it's not as prevalent as people make it out to be. But anyway, if you've gone through that experience, or if you are sensing that might be the case, or if you know for sure you have, that's your job to never let that happen again. And it's your responsibility. It's your burden to bear that you allowed that. The last thing you want to do in any situation is put yourself in a victim role. That means you got no chance. You understand what I'm saying?
I do. That's hitting deep. Yeah. My mind is processing that. Yeah. It's tough. Yeah. Cause I'm in a couple of situations where I'm like, am I, I'm feeling that tug on the feet. And when you're in it, it's like, dude, like I put time and I invested in this, but my gut is telling me like, this isn't the right path to take. Yeah. So I think it comes down like, the experiences has to be a big part of it too. Like you've obviously been through the ringer enough where you're like, you can really sense it. I imagine when it's like a mile away, you're like, whoa, I feel like the storm coming in. Oh, no. Yep.
Well, look, let me tell you that's the case most of the time, but I'll overload myself sometimes. And when I do that, my resistance is down. If I'm so focused, if I'm so forward focused, sometimes I lose my peripheral vision. And that allows these little things to kind of slowly start closing in on me. Sometimes it's not until it's right here in front of my face that I realize, like, oh shit, this is a problem. I don't like this.
Yeah.
This is not what's the fucking word I'm looking for? This is not in alignment with where I'm going and who I am. This isn't going to fit. This has got to go now. I immediately feel relief. Immediately. Yeah. And here's another little tidbit that going through the process. How old are you, 23?
29.
29. Okay. I thought you were 23.
Oh, okay.
You look very young. That's a good thing. I'm not.
I'll look like this till I'm like 70 and then I'll just be old. That's fuck.
Good. Keep that. They got people pay a lot of money to look young again. So going through, because it's a grind, and that's okay. It's a grind. The people who need it never get the support, never get the applause. That's just the way it is. It's the people that made it that then everybody starts applauding them and giving them support. Hey, what can I do to help? Motherfucker, where were you 2 years ago when I was scraping bottom? That's just part of the process too. That's part of the process. So stay with it. And look, every opportunity, everything you bump into, a seeming obstacle, is just another opportunity to get bigger, faster, stronger. Bigger, faster, stronger. And that's all you do is stack these little opportunities as little experiences, and you stack them and stack them and stack them. And that's, they say you got to be willing to look like the fool before you can show yourself as a master. It is.
Yeah. Gosh, man, I remember that being like newly clean. people are just like, what happened to this guy? Like, he was good at sports and now he's just like a bum. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna look like a fool for a while. And now people are like, wow, like, good job. It's like, cool. Did it. Yeah. Yeah, it is awkward in the beginning for sure. So I like that. Yeah. Let yourself, be someone who's growing up. I think so many people are afraid to feel that they judge more their age by their experience. Like, oh, I'm 32, so I could, like, obviously I have stuff to work on, but I can't show that to the world. And I'm just like, dude, like, as soon as I find a problem, I'm like, let me find the solution ASAP. I don't care who has to know, and if I look silly, because I just want peace. I just want peace.
Well, that's where the peace is.
Yeah. In the work.
And God.
100%. Yes. As you and Mark said, God. I've been thinking about that a lot, actually. Higher power, myself, purpose, work, and then women are like way down here. So I'm like, yeah. Nice.
I mean, look, it's always God first. And with that, I clump in recovery because it's God working in my life. It's God first, purpose second. And then if you have a family like my son, of course, but I have to keep God ahead of everything, because without that, without my recovery and my relationship with God, I'm not available for him. I'm not of any use to anyone unless that's above me, unless that is my main number one absolute non-negotiable priority. That cannot be compromised at all. And there's good reason. And it gets very easy to keep it that way once you start experiencing life under the care of God and recovery and what that does for you. It becomes it's a no-brainer. Like, okay, I get it. God first. When you experience the peace and calm that comes with having a direct connection to God on a daily basis, that supersedes any drug, any orgasm, any experience or achievement. It's not even close. When you have that peace of mind and peace of spirit and that clean feeling that offers, it cannot be replaced. It can't be bought. It can't be artificially absorbed or taken. Like, there's nothing that can even come close to that. So once you experience that, it becomes important, but not this urgent feeling like I gotta get this and hang on to it. It's not like that.
Okay.
It's a very like, okay, now I see what I have to do. Now I see why that's number one, and that's okay.
That's so peaceful. Just hearing you say that, I'm just like, yes, dude. It just takes that anxiety away. Like, dude, this has to happen. Like,
oh, it's there, brother. Keep going. Keep doing the work.
Hell yeah.
And you know what? I found a lot of peace in serving God and helping others. They say when you're going through your roughest time, get out of yourself. When you're going through it the worst, go help somebody. Yes. Go do something for somebody else with no recognition. What's going on with my brain tonight? Why can't I think of words?
Concussion.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I had a concussion last night. I forgot about that. See, I'm losing my mind. But yeah, and that's when I've experienced some of the deepest peace and serenity and gratifying feeling is when I help someone unconditionally. Now I'll make it a point to do that, not because I'm looking for the hit.
Okay, yes.
But it just becomes, and I really felt like I've done some good. I really believe I'm serving God, among other things. But
that's beautiful, man. Yeah, I think we got our next stream. I think we got our next podcast is how to listen to God. That is so huge because it's so quickly can our own will just pop back in. And it's like,
Sure.
God, and it's just like, and then all of a sudden things get stressful again. It's like, how do you stay with God center?
Well, this is why we do these things daily. It's an everyday thing. It's a daily maintenance.
Daily maintenance, right.
And even still, you're going to have things that pop up because we're humans and we
Sure.
live. We're alive.
Yeah. Can't be perfect at it.
No, but you can practice perfectly.
Well, that, man, I think that's a great place to call it for the night. That was practice perfectly, guys. That's the message for the night. All this we're talking about, practice as perfectly as you can, and you'll see miracles. So I fucking love it, dude. Well, yeah. Any last words and or where people can find you and get some of that.
Yeah. So thank you everybody for tuning in. If you come across this video and you watch it and you like what you heard, or even if you don't, you can still hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel so you can be on every live stream we have and other videos and content that I put out. If you need help, if you want coaching, some of the things we've talked about, you just got broken up with, you're getting into another relationship, you're feeling a little wobbly, hit me up. I can solve that problem. And hit the like, hit the share, subscribe, and leave a comment.
Yeah. Comment what you guys want to see next. If you have any topics that are really pressing to you, let us know. We'll definitely cover them at some point. And for myself, come on over to Spread University on YouTube. Talk about quitting marijuana mostly. That's my big drug of choice. But we also talk about alcohol, all different kinds of different substances, like we talked about earlier today too. Love addiction, love avoidance. So getting out of this narcissistic love avoidant cycle, it'll change your life and give you so many opportunities. But that's for another stream. And if you need help quitting, let me know. Reach out for me for coaching. You can schedule a call with me down below. It's on my channel anyway. It's simple, $20, 40-minute call. We'll just dive into your life history, where you are and what you want to see out of your life, and get you sober fast and on the path. So other than that, check out my Instagram. That's where I do fun stuff and not so serious addiction recovery content. So with that, guys, thanks for tuning in to episode 2 of the Proud Masculine podcast. Really pumped to keep this going. Shout out to Shank. Thanks for tuning in, brother.
I think that's my son.
Oh, nice.
I think.
What's up, dude?
Hunter, is that you?
Cool. Well,
okay.
Potentially Joe's son.
If not, I'll adopt him.
Either way. Good. That's what a good proud masculine man does, adopts.
It is. He said
it is.
You got to go to YouTube to see it. Okay, good.
Oh, nice. Cool. What's up, dude? Thanks for sparing your dad for an hour. And it's cool to see you guys training in the gym and stuff. So come on the cast sometime, man, if you want to rip it up. And
we'll get him on one day.
Yeah. Cool. Dope. All right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in again. It was great to see everyone. And Joe, as always, it's been a pleasure.
Likewise, brother.